ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। ओम वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्ये सर्वदा। गुरुब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुस्साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां भिषजे भुवरोगिणां निधे सर्वविद्यानां श्रीदक्षिणामूर्ते नमः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नमो धर्माय महते नमः कृष्णाय वेदसे ब्राह्मणेभ्यो नमस्कृत्य धर्मान् वक्ष्यामि शाश्वतान्। नमो भगवते तस्मै व्यासाय मदतेजसे यस्य प्रसादात् वक्ष्यामि नारायणकथामिमाम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। Previously, after Abhimanyu's death, Arjuna returns and he was grieving. He takes the vow. Makes a oath that in the next day's battle, before sunset, he will kill Jayadratha, who was blocking all the Pandava troops, rest of the Pandavas, Panchala troops, Viratas, and everybody. So he makes a oath that he will kill. If he fails, because he never failed anything he has said he is going to do, he is going to end his life if he fails to kill Jayadratha. So he takes that vow, and then we looked at Jayadratha being scared and him running to Drona with Duryodhana. Drona assures him that he will protect and nobody can overcome myself. I'm Drona. Nobody, even Indra, cannot go past me. So you stay at the back and we will all protect you. So with that, Jayadratha goes away. Here Krishna prepares the bed for Arjuna and then goes to his own place, asks Daruka to prepare his chariot for the next day's battle, and he says that there is nobody more dear to me than Krishna. I will do everything for him, and so prepare the battle for the chariot for tomorrow. Keep my all weapons there, and I will destroy the entire Kaurava army tomorrow and give that victory to Arjuna. So I will make sure that Arjuna survives, otherwise, because without Arjuna, there is no me. So Krishna says that, and we stop there and we look at what happens. So here Arjuna, we continue with Arjuna. So Arjuna staying on his bed, he was sleeping. Krishna prepared, as we looked at previously, Krishna prepared his bed and Arjuna was sleeping there. And with the grief, as he was going to sleep, he was remembering the mantras given to him by Vyasa. So the mantras again given to him by Vyasa, if you go back to Vanaparva, beginning of early stages of Vanaparva, when Vyasa comes there and he gives a mantra called Pratispriti to Yudhisthira. And Yudhisthira gives that mantra to Arjuna and tells him to go to Kailasa and Devaloka and get all the divine celestial weapons, right? So here as well, so Arjuna remembers those mantras and then he tries to go to sleep, but burning with grief, he was thinking about Krishna. And then while he was thinking about Krishna in that sleep, even in that sleep with grief, he was thinking about Krishna. Krishna comes in his dream. And Arjuna, as always, even when he is awake or in his sleep, he never sat just like that when Krishna arrives. So he always stood up and went and received Krishna. Just like here as well, even in his sleep, Arjuna dreaming here. So even in his sleep, when he sees Krishna coming, in his sleep he gets up and now he walks towards Krishna and receives him and gives him in that dream itself. So all this now been happening in Arjuna's dream. So he receives Krishna, gives him a seat, and he stands next to him and he does not even take a seat. So normally, because they are friends, he will sit next to him and then talk. But now, because of that grief he is in, he just stands next to him. Krishna, knowing him, he addresses him and says that do not grieve because time is unconquerable. Everything will happen because of time. All the creatures have to do their course in this time. That means Kala will take up everything, make you do whatever you need to do. So grief should not be indulged in because grief is the impediment of action. So if one is grieving, they will not do their karmas. So Krishna reminds him and tells him that do your karmas, what you need to accomplish that one, because grief makes a person forego all his efforts, and that's why grief is the enemy of the person. And the one who is indulging in grief, such a person gladdens his enemies and saddens his friends, while he himself becomes weakened. So that's why do not grieve. And when he says that, Arjuna addresses him and Krishna and says that the woe I have made is very grave one about Jayadratha, killing Jayadratha. That's very difficult, very challenging one. But even then, I will kill him tomorrow. But my frustration is that Jayadratha is going to be protected by all the Maharathis on the Kaurava side. All of them will be there, and he will be at the back. And whatever that remaining in that 11 Akshayani army, all of that troops will be there. All of those Maharathis, all those Adirathis, all of them on the Kaurava side will be there. My concern is how do I reach Jayadratha? How do I reach? Without killing him, I will not survive. I will not live. I will not continue to live. So what should I do? How do I do it? And also Arjuna says that at this season of the year, sun also sets very quickly. Again, we looked at beginning of Mahabharata as well, when this Mahabharata or when this war started, right? So the Udyoga Parva, we looked at all the signs and that's explained. So it started sometime in the autumn period. So the Kartika Masa they talked about, right? So all those things. So it is in that autumn period when the sun sets quickly than summer. So that's what Arjuna mentions here. So my target is sunset, and in these periods, sunrise is late, sunset is early. So I have a shorter day as well, unlike in summer days. So Arjuna is thinking even if I had half an hour more, then it would have helped me. So he's thinking like that and explains his concern to Krishna. So listening to this, Krishna touches the water. That means he does the Achmana, sitting facing eastwards. He does the Achmana. So again, one rule for Achmana is mentioned here: sitting facing the east and does the Achmana. Again, touch the water. He is doing the Achmana. So again, before one does any pujas, prayers, and things like that, do just do Achamanas, and Shudras also should do Achamana. The procedure for Achamana differs from Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. There are various rules and things one should do. For example, one is mentioned here, sitting on the east. Again, there are other directions allowed and not allowed, so that all one will know. So these days, these things don't happen. Okay, people go and just started chanting mantras. Okay, started doing pujas, not even wash hand and feet and whatever, doing Achamana, forget about Achamana. Most of the Brahmanas don't know Achamana. Okay, when I say do Achamana, they don't even know. Okay, forget about Kshatriya, Shudra, Vaishya, Shudras, Brahmanas even do not know Achamana because everything is learned through books these days, and book says do Achamana, do Achamanas. Okay, before you do Gayatri, do 2 Achamanas, and people just think, okay, how Achamana? Drink 3 times water. Don't know why, what, and what are the rules, how to drink water, all those things they don't know. They just do it, right? So that's the today's problem. But here, Krishna does it properly, and then he thinks for Arjuna's benefit. He tells him that there is an indestructible supreme weapon known as Pashupata weapon. With Maheshwara, he killed Daityas previously. And if you remember it now, you'll be able to kill Jayadratha tomorrow. And if it is unknown to you, now within your heart, pray to Maheshwara. That one having the bull as his mark, the Nandi as his Vahana, vehicle, pray for him and thinking of him in your mind, remember him, and you are his devotee. Through his grace, you will be able to obtain all those rich positions. So that's what Krishna advises him. after himself, he himself doing purifying himself, he advises to do Shankara's puja and dhyana. So this again says that importance not just while performing, but also advising somebody you have to be pure first on these kind of mantras and things like that. So hearing this, Arjuna also does this, Lakshmana, and he concentrated his mind on Shankara, and then with his mind in that Brahmi Muhurta, again, Brahmi Muhurta is about 1 hour, 1.5 hour before sunrise. So again, Brahmi Muhurta is very important, and that early just before the sunrise, in those period, whatever one gets in the dream, that becomes fruitful, and all those things are there in Shastra, right? So here in that Muhurta, in that time, Arjuna is praying in his dream. He is praying to Shankara, and Arjuna saw himself then journeying through the sky with Krishna. And Arjuna, with the speed of the mind, he seems to reach the sacred foots of Himalaya and then Manimat mountain. And then there he sees a lot of gems and siddhas, charanas. Then Krishna holding Arjuna's hand again. Arjuna felt like Krishna is holding his left arm. So that means Krishna is on his left side, dragging him from his Krishna holding through his right arm. He's dragging Arjuna to that Kailasa mountain, towards that mountain. So as they go through that regions, Arjuna sees again many people on the Shweta mountain, and then they go through Kubera's garden, and then they go through river Ganga, and then they arrive in the regions of Mandara mountains, which is covered with all the blossoms, always covered with blossoms and fruits. And then they see all the crystals and various wild animals and everything. They see that rishis doing penances, and then all the kinnaras, gandharvas, everybody there. He sees all those things, and then beautiful flowers and everything. Through that they progress through. Then Arjuna reaches the mount called Kala, and then, which is again very silvery color. Then they reached the summit of Brahmatunga and then many rivers, and then many inhabited provinces they cross through. And then he arrives at the Shadashringa, and then the woody woods or the forest known as Sharyati, and then they see the sacred spot known as Ashwashirasthana, and then the region of Atharvana. Then he sees the mountain called Vrishadansa, and then the great Mandara mountain, where the Apsaras, Kinnaras, all of them were there. And then Arjuna with Krishna sees the spot where the excellent fountains and golden minerals and all those things were there. And then they see diverse mines of wealth. They see in that, and then they go to a spot called Vishnupada. And then, like that, wandering through with Krishna's company, they come to where they come near the blazing mountain, and there they see on top of it they see Shiva, and who is always engaged in penances. Like 1,000 suns he was collected together. He was blazing in that with his own effulgence, and then with trident, Trishula in his hand, and hair fully locked, snow white color. Again, remember, Shiva is pure white color. Krishna is dark color. Krishna, Vishnu is dark color. Shiva is pure white. Only Shiva's throat is blue. Okay, so Shiva is pure color, and he was robed in bark, elephant skin and bark, and then he was again seemed like 1,000 suns united together. He was there. Seeing him seated with Parvati, with many brilliant creatures around him, his attendants were engaged in singing musical instruments, laughing, dancing, and all those kind of things, and they were giving loud shouts. They reached that place where the rishis that worshipped Brahma were singing glory of Shiva in that place, and Shiva was, who is the one who is the wielder of Pinaka bow. And seeing him, Krishna and Arjuna, they both touched earth with their head. That means they did a complete Ashtanga Namaskara. So again, they did not do hello like this. The Namaskara these days that happen. So Namaskaras these days, if you are lucky, people do this. Otherwise, like this, or just say hello like this, right? So Namaskara, I think I said previously, Namaskara has to be, one has to touch. Okay, the head has to touch. You have to bow down fully. So here, like that, they do, and then Krishna starts singing praise of Shankara himself. Krishna starts doing prayer of Shankara. He here uh, Sanjay narrates this, and Vyasa puts it like Vasudeva stutam društva jagama shirasakshitam. So his head touched ground, and then partena saha dharmatma gunan brahma sanataram lokadim. So then uh, Krishna starts singing praise lokadim. So that means he is the first of this universe, first source of this universe. Vishwakarmanam ajam ishanam avyayam manasa paramam yonim kham vayum jyotisham nidhim srashtaram varidharanam varidharanam bhuvascha prakritim param devadanava yakshanam manavam cha sadhanam yoginam paramam brahma brahma vyaktam brahma vidham nidhim characharasya srishtaram pratihartaram evacha kalakopam mahatmanam shakrasurya ganodayam. So he says that you are the first source of the universe. You yourself are uncreate. You are the supreme Bhagavan of unfading glory. You are the highest cause of the mind. You are the space. You are the wind. You are the cause of all the luminous bodies in the sky. And you are the creator of the rain, and you are the supreme primordial substance on the earth. You are the object of adoration with the devatas, danavas, yakshas, human beings, and everybody. And you are the supreme Brahma that is seen by the yogins and refuge of all those acquainted with the Shastras. And you are the one who is the creator of all the mobile and immobile creatures, and the destroyer also. And your anger that burns everything at the end of the yuga, you are the supreme, you are the Paramatma, and you are like a Indra, Surya, and all the origin of all the attributes. So you are the creator of everything. Like this, Krishna seeks protection of Shiva, and uh, again that Shiva who is subtle, spiritual in seen, and that uncreate, he is the Atma of all the creatures. And Arjuna repeatedly also he adores Shiva, and uh, again that Shiva who is the origin of all the creature and cause of the past, present, and future. Seeing these two, Nara and Narayana, arriving there, Shankara becomes very cheerful. Smilingly, he says, "Welcome," and rise up and let your fatigue from your journey be over. What do you want in your heart? Let that be told quickly. And what business brought you here? I will do everything for the benefit of you. I will grant everything that you may desire. So, hearing this, both of them uh, 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 get up, and then joining their hands together, uh, Krishna and Arjuna both start to praise Shiva and do prayers to him with excellent hymns. They do it. Krishna and Arjuna, they sing again prayers to Shiva. They sing like Om Namo Bhavaya Sharvaya Rudraya Varadaya Cha Pashunam Pataye Nityam Ugraya Chakapartine Mahadevaaya Bhimaya Trambakaya Shambhave Ishanaya Bhagagnaya Navostu Andaka Ghatine Kumara Guruve Nityam Neelagrivaaya Vedase Neelalohitaya Dhumraya Vyadhaya Yana Parajide Nityam Neela Shikandhaya Shuline Divyachakshe Hantre Goptre Trinetraya Vyadhaya Usuretase Achintayambika Bhartre Sarvadevastutaya Cha Vrishabhadvajaya Pingalaya Jatine Brahmacharine Tapyamanaaya Salile Brahmanya Yachitaya Cha Vishwatmane Vishwastruje Vishwam Avritya Tishtate Namo Namaste Sevvyaya Bhutanam Prabhave Sadha Brahmavaktraya Sharvaya Shankaraya Shivaya Cha नमोस्तु वाचस्पतये प्रजानां पतये नमः नमो विश्वस्य पतये महतां पतये नमः नमः सहस्रशिरसे सहस्रभुजमन्यवे सहस्रनेत्रपादाय नमो सम्यक् सङ्ख्येयकर्मणे नमो हिरण्यवर्णाय हिरण्यकवचाय च भक्तानुकम्पिने नित्यं सिद्ध्यतां नौ वरप्रभो. Like this, they pray, they sing prayers to Shankara and then say that give us the fulfill our wishes, and they pray to Shiva. Both Krishna and Arjuna pray like this. So when they pray like this, Shankara, Arjuna, they both, then Arjuna obtains a great weapon called Pashupada from Shiva. So Sanjay continues this narration. He says that when Arjuna, with joint hands, expanded eyes, looking at Shiva, he was looking at like that. He saw all the offerings that he made every night to Krishna was by the side of Shiva. So this is again very important thing in today's world, where there is a lot of bickering between Shiva followers, Shaivas, and Vishnu followers, Vaishnavas. Okay, they are saying I am great, Shiva is great, Vishnu is great, and then somebody says Durga is great, and somebody says Vinayaka is great, and someone says Surya is great, and things like that. Right? So there is this battle, okay, between the different groups or the followers of that. But in Advaita Parampara and Shankaracharya's Parampara teachings, it is very clear, and in Shastras it is repeated everywhere. Okay, even if you take Vaishnava Purana, Bhagavata Purana, for example. Okay, Mahabharata is Vaishnava anyway. Okay, Krishna's story. So let's ignore that. Let's assume this is a neutral Mahabharata. It's neutral if we take Bhagavata Purana, Vishnu Purana, right? So that is Vishnu's Vaishnava Purana. Even in that, it clearly says that Shiva and Vishnu are same. There is no difference, and the one who makes difference between them, he will have to rot in hell for as long as the Brahma lives. Okay. And similarly, if you take Shiva's Purana, Shiva Purana or Skanda Purana or anything that Shiva focused, Shaiva's focused, Puranas, there as well, multiple times, almost there is no other Purana. Even if you take Devi Purana, for example, Devis, there also it says clearly that all are same. And what Arjuna sees here, when he is praying to Krishna, Shiva, he looks at all the offerings, all the things he gave to Krishna, for example, the food or whatever he gave to Krishna every night, all those things were there with Shiva. Okay, so that means the Shiva, Krishna, both are same. And Mahabharata here, Sanjay narrating this, and Vyasa giving this Mahabharata, clearly says that Arjuna then mentally worshipped both Krishna and Shiva together, and he says that I desire to obtain the celestial weapon, that Pashupata weapon. So this is very important. Again, there is no difference between Vishnu and Shiva. Okay, and the importance as Arjuna sees here and narrated in Mahabharata is again to say that there is no difference. Just because Krishna goes and worships, the story started saying that Krishna goes and worships Shiva. Suddenly, Shiva followers are saying, yeah, look here, Krishna is worshipping Shiva. Okay, so Krishna is inferior, Shiva is superior. But the next sentence, people don't read normally. They stop there because they pick one paragraph somewhere, and then that's how they run there with their flags these days. Okay, they trumpet, they blow their trumpet. But if they read the next chapter, where clearly in the first set of shlokas, clearly it is said that Arjuna sees both of them same. There is no difference between them. Okay, because all Paramatma. Okay, all same Bhagavan. So Arjuna sees them and he says that I want to obtain that Pashupata weapon. And hearing that, Shiva smilingly tells Krishna and Arjuna, welcome. So you both, I know what's wished by you. So I give you what you want. So there is a celestial lake here full of Amrita not far from this place. You go there, and there is a celestial bow and arrow of mine. with them I killed in the previously, the enemies of Devatas, I killed them. So bring that here, Krishna, bring that bow and arrow here, with the arrow fixed on it, bring that here. So Shiva says like this. Hearing this, those words, Arjuna and Krishna agree and they start going towards that lake with Krishna, Shiva's Ganas following them, and they reach that lake. And as them rishis, Narayana, Arjuna, and Krishna went fearlessly there, once they reach that lake, Arjuna and Krishna, they see in its water a terrible snake, and also they see another snake which had thousand heads in it, and such a snake they see, and they were vomiting. Those snakes were vomiting fierce flames from their mouth. Then Krishna and Arjuna again touched the water, joining their pod, touched the water again, doing Achmana, and then joining, purifying themselves, and then them joining their hands, and they approach those snakes. And once thinking about Shiva again in their mind, they reach that snakes, and as they approach that snakes, those snakes were conversant with the Vedas. They uttered Shatarudriya. Okay, so the 100 stanzas of Veda, which is praises the Rudra, Shatarudriya. Again, you probably will hear about Shatarudriya homas and things like that that's being performed. So here Krishna and Arjuna hear that Shatarudriya from those snakes, and then bowing them to them and to Shankara. Those snakes, those two snakes, then transform themselves, abandon their snake form, and they assume the form of an enemy killing bow and arrow. Then seeing them, Arjuna and Krishna sees them that bow and arrow, and then they brought that and gave that to Shiva. Seeing that, from that, then from one side of Shiva's body, a brahmachari came out with red color eyes, and that brahmachari had a blue throat. It is Shiva Swarupa again, with red hair, and coming out of that, taking that bow, stood there and fixed that bow arrow onto that bow and started stretching. And seeing that, like that, bow being stretched and arrow being stretched, and hearing the Veda mantras uttered by everybody, Shiva and everybody, Arjuna learnt everything that he needed to know for that Pashupata weapon. And then Arjuna remembered all those things previously he learnt from Shiva himself. If you remember in Parva, Arjuna had a battle with Shiva. Shiva came in the form of a hunter, and then they had a battle, and then at that time itself, Arjuna had got Pashupata mantra. Right? So now it is again recollecting all those things from Shiva himself. He remembers all those things, seeing that scene, and then understanding that Shiva is gratified with him and gave him the boon. Arjuna becomes very happy, and he acquires that Pashupata weapon from Shiva. Then Krishna and Arjuna became very happy, and they again bowing to doing namaskara to Shiva with his permission. Those two return to their own camp, and with very happiness they became very happy. And it was that Indra and Vishnu, those two previously, just like they worshipped Shiva when they were trying to kill, Indra was trying to kill Jamba, the Asura Jamba, just like that. Now Arjuna and Krishna did worship Shiva, and they got that weapons and blessings of the Shiva. So that's the night dream Arjuna had. Okay, so again, all this in his dream, Krishna comes, and Krishna takes him to Kailasa, and they worship Shiva, and Arjuna remembers that Pashupata mantra. Okay, Pashupata weapon mantra. So that's what happens. And then the next morning, while Krishna and Dharuka in his Krishna's camp, they were discussing about the next day's preparation all night. Morning happens, and then now we look at couple of chapters here where Sanjay narrates what happens when a king wakes up. Even in the battlefield, when a king wakes up, what happens? Sanjay narrates that. He says, describes what happened when Yudhisthira woke up. So when the morning dawned, King Yudhisthira, he rose from his bed and then Panishvanikas, Magadas, Madhuparkikas, Sutas, all those things. So they all sing and they all bring all the auspicious things and all those things. Uh, they all came and with songs and music, dancers began to dance. Sweet was singers, they started singing with a lot of praises for him. And then the musicians, well trained in their respective instruments, mridangas and various other things, panavanaka, gomakas and all the conch shells, dundubis and all the sounds and instruments all started making loud noise came through. And as it all that fully woke up Yudhishthira. He was just waking up, opening his eyes, and then as the king was get opening his eyes, all these people started singing all the good morning songs. Okay, and as they sang all those things and then made all this noise, Yudhishthira fully woke up and having slept in that bed, he woke up and then he rising from his bed, he proceeded to his morning absolute necessary duties in it to go to the bathroom and things. Then 108 servants attired in white color, they themselves already washed and taking bath. They all came to Yudhishthira with golden jars filled till the neck of that jars filled with water and various things. They came there and then Yudhishthira, seated on his royal seat, attired with a thin cloth, he was uh, bathed by several servants with fragrant, with water, with sandalwood, and purified with mantras and things like that. They bathed him, and lot of strong, well-trained servants with water in their hand, with different kinds of medicinal herbs soaked in that water. They bathed him, and also they washed him with perfumed water, fragrant waters, with various fragrant substances. Then, obtaining a long piece of cloth, they also servants also rubbed him and cleaned him. Then, obtaining a long piece of cloth on his head, white color, that kept his hair so that was drying. So they tied his hair with a white piece of cloth and then applied on his body excellent sandal paste, and they put flower garlands around him, and then gave address, put him clean clothes on him, and sat him facing towards east. The Yudhishthira sat, and then with his hands joined. Then he mentally said all his prayers. Then, with great humility, he entered the chamber with where he performs his daily Agni Karya, and he worshipped Agni with sacred wood and poured his libations of ghee with mantras. And then, after that, he came out of that chamber where he performs his Agni Karya. Then Yudhishthira comes to the second chamber where he so many Brahmanas who are well acquainted with the Vedas. He saw there they were all self-restrained, purified by study of Vedas and the vows, the vratas and things performed by that they were purified. So it is not just any ordinary Brahmanas who just happened to have a Yajnopavita on their shoulder. Okay, so these are all self-restrained, purified Brahmanas, again purified by the study of the Vedas and the vratas they have performed. And all of them have undergone the bath on completion of the sacrifice. Again, at the end of a sacrifice, when a sacrifice is performed, the performer takes the bath. Okay. So that bath is all of them have undergone. That means they have performed multiple sacrifices. And they are all worshippers of the Suryas. That means they do without fail morning and 3 times a day, they do Sandhya Vandana. Okay. So again, Brahmanas without Sandhya Vandana is not a Brahmana. So they all, like that, there are thousands of them, And then beside them, there were 8,000 others of the same class. So same class means Brahmana class. Okay. So the first group were Brahmanas, real proper Brahmanas, and the others were Brahmana Jati. They were born in Brahmanas. They may not have done all those great things, performing sacrifices or vows or all those kind of things, but they were still worshippers of, I'm assuming they were still worshippers of the Surya Sandhya Vandanas. They probably definitely would have done. Okay. So there were 8,000 of them. So again, Yudhisthira made, so seeing Yudhisthira, all of them uttered benedictions and blessed him. And then Yudhisthira made presents to them of honey, ghee, and auspicious fruits, and gave them a nishka of gold, a coin of gold, and then 100 horses with ornaments on them, costly robes or whatever things that's agreeable to them. Again, he gave the things which is those Brahmanas wished for. Okay. He did not give them an elephant when they are looking for a cow. Okay. So he gave them what they are actually looking for. So if they are looking for horses, he gave them the horses. He gave them, if they are looking for wealth, he gave them the gold, or he gave them, if they are looking for multiple things, he gave them multiple things. Okay. If they are looking for geese and things like that for their sacrifices, he gave that. And he gave away horses, he gave away cows with calves, again with their arms decked in gold and hooves with silver. Again, it is important when one gifts a cow, it should be a milking cow and it should be with calf. Okay, without calf, even cows dana is not allowed. So again, Shastra says when giving the cows, horn should be decked in gold and silver, and the hooves and things like that. There are various procedures which we'll see later in Shanti Parva. Okay, so there is a 2, 3 chapters explaining on the procedure of gifting a cow. So Yudhishthira gives all that to Brahmanas and then worships them, does namaskara and worships them, goes around them and then does the namaskara. And then he sees all the auspicious articles. Okay, so look at his morning, so taking the bath, and after that he does his Agni Karya and then worships the Brahmanas and gives the dana to Brahmanas, and then he does sees and touches all the auspicious articles. Okay, so first he starts with swastikas, which increases the good fortune. Okay, people ask these days, what is the use of swastika? Here it is the answer, if anyone asks. So it says that here it increases the good fortune. And then uh, Nandya, Nandyavarta. So Nandyavartas, again, it there are various different meanings to this. One is just it's a type of jasmine. Okay, Nandyavarta, you probably have seen the flowers in India. Or it could mean some sort of yantras, or it could mean some sort of shells. Okay, so there are different meanings to that. So here, C is made of gold, so it's definitely not a plant. It's probably some sort of shell or yantras that's made. And then he sees the floral flower garlands, kalashas, burning fire, that means sacrificial fire, and then the vessels full of rice, and then the other auspicial articles, and then the yellow pigment made from cow urine. This is not something I've seen before, but this is mentioned here. And then the auspicious and well-decked kanyas. So he sees again the kanyas, and then he sees curd, ghee, honey, auspicious birds, diverse other kinds of sacred things he sees, and then he comes out of into an outer chamber. So after seeing and touching those things, he comes to, and there his attendants waiting in that chamber. They brought excellent costly seat of gold, which is circular in shape with all the pearls and various other things, costly carpet over it, and like this fine texture, it was a lot of handiwork. It's a royal seat. Okay, so he takes that seat, and then his servants bring him all the costly, bright ornaments to put on. So up to now, remember, he was doing sacrifice, Brahmanas puja, and all the other things. Till now, he only had sandal paste and his flower garland. He didn't have all these costly bright jewelry and other things that kings wear. Now he's putting on all those things. So after he's doing all his prayers, pujas, brahmanas, worship, and everything, then only he does all those things. So this is again, even though it is a story of what Yudhishthira did on that morning on the 14th day, what he did, it is telling us, everybody, that how one should do in the morning. Okay, for prayers and things, you don't have to be dressed up fully. Okay, a lot of makeup and all those kind of things are not required. First is prayers. Okay, and then you can look at beautifying yourself. So that's what Yudhishthira does here. And then he, with those all those ornaments, he looked great. And then the servants again bring fan with white yak tiles fitted on it, and then with gold handles and things like that they bring. And then they started singing praise. And you've probably seen when the king enters, they sing all the great things about the king. So like this, they were singing. So like this, he enters, and then there was a huge noise of all the car wheels, chariots, and going things, horses moving around, all those things, elephant bells, conch shells, and things like that were there. So, like this, Yudhishthira enters his chamber, and then he sees Krishna coming to that chamber, and Yudhishthira immediately, or a servant comes to him. So again, servant is very youthful in years. He was decked with earrings. He had a sword hanging by his side, and he was cased in his mail. And he comes, that doorkeeper, he comes and he kneels down first, and then he informs that Krishna is waiting outside. And then Yudhishthira immediately instructs that let a seat and arghya be brought ready for him. Arghya is again for Krishna. Okay, so to again, it's called arghya, but it's to wash his feet and hands and things. So to when he arrives. So and when Krishna enters inside, Yudhishthira gives him a seat, and addressing him with usual enquiries, Yudhishthira worships Krishna. So this is again important here. Krishna, in age, he is younger to Yudhishthira. Okay, we always see when Krishna comes, he worships Yudhishthira, right? And then Arjuna is his friend. Bhima is also elder to Krishna. But here, Sanjay narrates that as it is in the morning, right? When Yudhishthira is worshipping everyone, Krishna comes and he worships him as well. Okay, he sees him as a Narayana there. So he worships him. And then other times, so again, so even though he has that respect, he has to act like a king. Okay, so there is that difference. So then Yudhishthira addresses Krishna, and he says that was your night okay? All your preparations are good for the day, and things like that. And Krishna also makes similar inquiries. Did you sleep well? Are you ready for the battle today? And things like that. They generally inquire, and then all the other orderly people, all the other Kshatriyas, they came to the. They introduced one by one to that concourse. So Virata came, Bhima, Drishtadyumna, Satyaki, Drishtaketu, Drupada, Shikandi, Nakula, Sahadeva, Chekitana, rulers of Kalikeya's Jutsu, and then Uttamoja, who is Drupada's son, Yudamanyu, Subahu, and Draupadi's sons, all of them come. Then these and many other Kshatriyas, they came and took excellent seats there. Then when all of them seated like that, Krishna and Satyaki, they both sat on the same seat. And then when at the hearing of everybody, Yudhishthira addresses Krishna, and he says that relying on you alone, the Devatas, Indra, seeks battle happiness from Daityas. In the battle, he seeks happiness from you alone. You are aware of our situation, giving up all the kingdom and everything, our exile at the hands of enemies, spending all the time in the forest and all those things. You are aware. You are compassionate unto those who are devoted to you. So help us. Okay. He says that do which is my heart always rests upon you. So always it is on you, thinking about you. So help us. What the vow that the Arjuna has taken, make sure that that's realized, and it rescue us for today from this grief and anger. Rescue us from this rage, and today you become that boat that helps us crossing this ocean. And the car warriors all desirous of killing the enemy cannot in battle without the success of a good charioteer, a car driver. But you are he uh, you are always in there in the calamities of the Vrishnis, in the Yadavas. Whenever they were in trouble, you rescued them. So, like that, you rescue the sons of Pandus from this Kuru ocean. You rescue them, and I bow to you. And he says that you rescue us. And Narada described you as the ancient one, Narayana. You are the Rishi of Nara. You Rishi Narayana that gives boons, uh, holding the Saranga bow. So give us that boon and rescue us. So when he addresses like that, Yudhisthira, when he addresses like that, Krishna, he replies to Yudhisthira in a deep voice. He says that in all the worlds, including Devatas, there is no woman equal to Arjuna, and he is having he is of great energy, accomplished in the weapons, and of great prowess and great strength. He is celebrated in all the battles. He is very ever uh, angry, and he is of great energy. Arjuna is the foremost among all the uh, Kshatriyas. He is youthful in years, and he is having great strength, and he is definitely kill all your enemies. And I will do that by which Arjuna will be able to destroy that Kaurava troops today. This definitely in this very day he will kill that Abhimanyu's killer Jayadratha in that battlefield, and he will send Jayadratha to that path. He will send him in that path where the travelers do not come back. That means those who travel in that road to Yama's path, they will not come back. Okay, all the other journeys we make, we will come back, but the ones we make that journey, that's the last journey. That's what Krishna says. Jayadratha will go in that journey today, so he won't come back. So his body, flesh will be eaten by all the carnivorous creatures today, and even if Devatas with Indra comes to protect him, they will not be able to rescue him, and Arjuna will definitely win this battle. And while they were discussing like that, Arjuna comes there, and he comes and he worships everybody, including Yudhishthira, and Yudhishthira stands up, rises up from his seat, and embraces Arjuna and blesses him. And then Arjuna, uh, addressing him smiley, he says that Arjuna, definitely your victory will be yours today, and it is the fact that Arjuna, Krishna is also well pleased with you, so definitely victory will be yours. And Arjuna then tells him that I have through Krishna's grace something exceeding wonderful. I saw something exceedingly wonderful, and then Arjuna narrates everything what he saw in his dream in that Brahmi Muhurta, what he saw, seeing Shankara, and then recollecting that those mantras of Pashupata and everything he says, and listening to this, all those people assembled there, they do namaskara to Shiva, thinking about Shiva, and then they do namaskara to Shiva. And then all the friends of Yudhishthira, they prepare for their battlefield because they can't sit there and spend talking. They have to prepare for the battle. So they all saluting Yudhishthira, Satyaki, Krishna, Arjuna. They all set out from Yudhishthira Sadop, and then those two, Satyaki and Krishna, together with Arjuna on the same chariot, they came to Arjuna's place. And arriving there, Krishna started preparing the chariot which had a banner, and that chariot he started preparing for the battle ahead of the day. So we will stop there and we'll look at what happens, how Arjuna battles in that day and what he does. We'll look at that next time when we gather.